Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And I decided to go live tonight. I know this is kind of out of the blue. Honestly, the reason why I'm going live is because I didn't go live right after the game on Sunday. And the reason why I didn't go live, quite frankly, was because my internet went out. Me and my fiance were at home, and we were trying to watch some of the games, and we noticed that the internet wasn't working. And it just happened at one of the worst times. So I do apologize. So this right here is basically a Q&A edition of the State of the Saints podcast. So if you got any questions or anything like that regarding the Saints, just go ahead and let me know. I guess the only news that I've seen so far is the Saints signed Stefan Anthony, man. That's right. Former New Orleans Saint draft pick Stefan Anthony is now back with the New Orleans Saints. I think he spent a little time in Miami, and then after that, I think he went up to the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if he made the team or not, but he was one of those guys who the Saints drafted, and he had a good rookie season, man. I think he led the team in tackles. But one thing about Stefan Anthony, he struggled in coverage. So that's something that was very alarming. But I'm pretty sure the Saints got him because they need some depth at the linebacker position. I mean, it's no surprise with that. I think Caden later on in the week. But this right here, man, this is your show. Like if you have any questions or about the black and gold that you would like for me to answer, please do. Also, I would like to let everyone know now I'm actually live, but I'm on Streamlabs as of right now. So if you have like any comments or anything like that, we are accepting donations. So if you want to just go ahead and click the link. I think it should be in the description, and you all can it'll just pop off and notify me, and I think I'll be able to read it for you. But in the meantime, I'm just going to do the chats, take a look at the chats, and try to see if anybody got any questions. So feel free to ask me any questions that you would like. Let's see. Man, of all the teams on our schedule, I really wanted us to blow out the Rams and the Cowboys. What's going on, Keen Arthur, man? Appreciate that. I do, man. I hated that we lost to the Rams. And quite frankly, I feel like if Drew Brees would have played in that game completely, I think the Saints would end up beating the Rams. I think that Teddy Bridgewater coming in the game wasn't really prepared, didn't really get as many snaps and reps. I think that kind of cost the Saints against the Rams. But, man, you got to give credit where credit is due. I hate saying this, but the Dallas Cowboys, they are a really good football team this season. I mean, it just really, man, I hate saying that, but it is what it is. They're going to be a good football team, but I do think that, I think we got a good football team as well, man. So it's going to be an interesting game, but I am going to break down that game probably in the next couple of days. So be on the lookout for my prediction show coming up with that. Jared, what's going on, man? I appreciate it, man. I see you said I wore my shirt this week. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Thank you. If you want to be a part of the State of the Saints podcast coalition, you can always go to teespring.com. Just search the State of the Saints podcast, and you can get yourself some official State of the Saints podcast gear. T-shirts, hats, cups, and stuff like that. And I also do like contests, so you'll have opportunities throughout the season to win different items, courtesy of the State of the Saints podcast. So also be on the lookout for that. I'm really excited about this season. Really excited about the direction that the podcast is going in, and I can't do anything but thank you all for your love and your support. I really do appreciate it, and from the bottom of my heart, like real talk. I appreciate everybody coming on, commenting. If you just see the videos live on YouTube or you watch them on Facebook as well, thank you all very much. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. Somebody said, did Thomas Morstead get busted? I don't think Thomas Morstead got busted. I don't think he got busted or anything like that. I just think that he was kicking so well that they was like, man, this dude got to be on something. But, he found it funny, man. I don't think nobody that's got something to hide would be doing what Thomas Morstead was doing. I don't believe that. I don't believe that a person that has something to hide or out here, taking any type of, illegal drugs or anything like that will be somewhere holding a paper in his hand, which I do find that very odd, though. I find it odd because it wasn't like it wasn't like they knew they were going to test him, okay? Because you can see that it was written in pen. So they had to be watching the game and was like, man, this dude got to be on something. And they wrote his name in and said, okay, we're going to drug test him. But Thomas Morstead, I think to me, he probably was the best. I mean, I don't want to say the best, but he was one of the bright spots in that game against the Seahawks. He had an average of 54 yards per punt. Man, most of the time he was putting that ball right at around the 2 or the 3 yard line. Thomas Morstead is the same secret weapon. I mean, he's been a constant, for a very long time. I think him and Drew Brees are like the only two players that's a part of that Super Bowl team. I think Thomas Morstead was in his rookie season, but Thomas Morstead is a great punter, man. I think he's very underrated, and I think that what he actually does and being able to flip the field, I think that's incredible, man. So shouts out to Thomas Morstead. I don't think he got busted for nothing. I just think that that's just the NFL just trying to, I guess, like trying to drug test him because they're like, man, this dude got to be on something. But anyway, I want to say this, man. I know a lot of people have been talking about the New Orleans Saints secondary and stuff like that. But I'm going to be honest, man. Like, I know they gave up some plays last week against the Seahawks, but I think that was a pretty good game the secondary played, especially Eli Apple, man. I think this is probably one of Eli Apple's best games in the Saints uniform. And I'm not even just talking about from him ripping the ball out of Carson's hand, man, forcing that fumble. I'm just talking about overall. I mean, we have to understand this. I mean, the Saints are exactly who we think they are. They're a team that's going to give up big plays. But if you're going to be a team that give up big plays, you got to have a bend but don't break type attitude. But I think that they did a good job. I know that the score was pretty close towards the end, but but that goes to show you how great Russell Wilson is. I've seen Russell Wilson do that to so many people. He done that to so many folks, man. Like, you'll think that they down and then Russell Wilson to rally them back. But the defense played pretty good, man. I mean, yeah, they gave up that big play to DK Metcalf, and I think I seen one more play, I think, with Tyler Lockett, but all in all, man, they played pretty good. That was a team victory right there. And I think that if the Saints are going to, rally and weather this storm, they're going to have to play collectively as a team. Because if they're not, then it's going to be a whole lot of trouble. They're going to have a whole lot of problems, man. So hopefully they can get it together and beat the Dallas Cowboys. But once again, my prediction show will be coming up later on in the week. So I want to give y'all something, to look forward to. So I'm not really going to talk about that. Let's see. Stefan Anthony, yawn. He's not that dude. He rarely plays special teams in Miami. Yeah, man, Stefan Anthony, I mean, he was, I don't want to call him a bust. I just think that he was kind of overrated. I mean, coming out of Clemson, he was one of the top linebackers in the nation. He was a part of that national championship. He was part of that national championship where Alabama beat them. But I just think that Stefan Anthony, along with so many other of those Clemson defensive players, I think they're a little bit overrated. Like anytime they come into the league, you look at people like Vic Beasley and stuff like that. These guys come into the league, man, they be overrated, overhyped. And I think that Stefan Anthony, I think he would be a good linebacker if it was the early 90s or late 80s. But in today's NFL, linebackers have to cover the running backs. You got to be able to play in coverage. Like that's the reason why Manti Te'o didn't pan out with the Saints. Yeah, he was a good tackler, but when a running back go out there against you, man, it was out there getting posterized. You know what I'm saying? It was out there getting roasted, and it was out there getting toasted. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to cover the running back, and that's something that Stefan Anthony lacked. And that was the reason why towards the end of his Saints career, he was hardly on the field. He was hardly on the field because, he was a liability. So, Sean Payton kept him on the sidelines. So at the end of the day, you got to be able to play better, man. And he definitely didn't play. He didn't play up to snuff, man. He didn't get any better than he did his rookie season when he led the team in tackles. Let's see. Man, we got to do good Sunday. Somebody said that I'm offline. Let's see. Can everybody hear me? I apologize. Once again, this is my first time. I'm doing it through Streamlabs this time, so might be a little different. This is basically just a little test. So somebody tell me if you can hear me. If you can't, then I apologize. But like I said, this is my first time doing this. Okay. All right, thank you. Yeah, this is my first time doing this through Streamlabs. So this is a different software that I'm using right now. So yeah. Let's see. But anybody got any questions, man? Anybody got any questions about the Saints? Let's see. Let me start from the top. All right, let's start from the top. Start giving these shout outs. Charles, man, what's going on? Jock, was that Jackie or Jock? Franklin, Gerald, Pennywise, Quinterio, man. Hey, shouts out to Quinterio, man. He always rather is on YouTube, on Facebook, man. Much love, man. King Arthur, thank you. Kraus, thank you. Payne Music, my boy Jerry Port Jr. T-shirt wear. Man, thank y'all, man, for the love and the support. Real talk. Let's see. Because they are jealous that the Saints run this. Man, I don't know if people are jealous of the Saints or they just don't want to see the Saints succeed. I'm fully convinced that the NFL don't want the Saints to be great. I mean, it just seems like every time they have an opportunity to screw the Saints over, I mean, they spare no expense. And they're very unapologetic, no pun intended with my hat. No pun intended at all. But they're very unapologetic when it comes to screwing over the Saints, man. They seem like they do it, and then, they throw salt in the wound by saying, yeah, we did it, but we sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like they just love screwing over the Saints. But, I mean, you can't deny, man, whether it's the national media or anybody. I hear national media talking about the Saints not that good, and people like Colin Cowherd and stuff been dissing the Saints, which, like I said, once again, I feel like he a caricature. He's not a legit, sports guy. He just basically just a shock jock. But when it comes down to it, I really don't care, man. The New Orleans Saints are a good football team, and they're capable of beating any team on any given Sunday, and they are top five regardless to if media people want to give them credit or not. The Saints are a good football team, period. And they showed that by going out to Seattle. And I did a podcast with my two homeboys. We do a podcast called the NFC South versus the NFL. Y'all check that out. That's also on YouTube. But I was talking about the Saints, and I said that people didn't give the Saints the opportunity and give them a chance. Everybody just so focus on Drew Brees and stuff, which Drew Brees is great, but the Saints have done an outstanding job making this organization and putting a team together that guys that actually love playing for each other and playing with each other. You can tell these guys hang out outside of the field, you know what I'm saying, outside the field, you know what I'm saying? You can tell because they got a close-knit group, guys playing for each other, and they want to see each other succeed. You see them congratulating each other on the sidelines when one make good plays. That's what you want to see. So when you got a team like that, you can beat anybody. And that's something that we talked about on the podcast. But Let's see. How do you feel about Eli? Eli Manning? I'm just playing. Nah, man, Eli Apple, man, he played one of his best games. I think this probably his second best game in the Saints uniform. The first game I would have to say when they played against the Carolina Panthers in Carolina last season, that probably was his best game in the Saints uniform. But I think he did a good job, man. But Eli Apple is gonna get posterized every now and then because he is not a shutdown corner, man. But from what I actually seen come through those doors of the New Orleans Saints organization, he definitely not the worst. He not the best, but he definitely not the worst. Let's see. Jerry says 35-21 Saints. I assume you're talking about the Cowboy game. Okay. It is likely we trade for any corners, and who do you think we should target? I doubt if at this particular time we're gonna do any trading for any corners. I think if anything, we'll probably try to get somebody in free agency. I can't see the Saints trading for anybody right now at this time, man. I mean, I know it's like the first half of the season, but I feel like unless it's like somebody like Patrick Peterson or something like that, I don't think that the Saints need to go out here and try to trade for anybody. I think that they're okay at the cornerback position, all things considered. I'm a little scared of P.J. Williams. I think that he's a liability, and I think that he going into this game where you got wide receivers like Randall Cobb out there, former Green Bay Packer who playing in the slot. I think it's going to be a rough going for P.J. Williams. So I would like to see C.J. Gardner-Johnson in that spot, man. But I mean, PJ, he go out there, he play hard, man. I mean, I seen him out there making plays against Seattle. I seen him leaving Teddy Bridgewater deep ball. Charles, I don't know if I do because I ain't never seen Teddy Bridgewater deep ball. He don't really throw deep balls, man. He basically throw quick slants and digs, you know what I'm saying, and screen passes. So that's not really his game. I think that I understand. Look, I get it. Like, I don't want anybody to think I don't. This is a league right now. You look at people like the Kansas City Chiefs. You look at Jared Goff and all these other guys with big, strong arms, and you wonder to yourself, like, why the Saints can't have a guy like that? Why they can't have a guy that can just throw the ball down the field, and bombs away? The Saints got the talent to do it, but I just think that the reason why they got Teddy Bridgewater is because he is similar to a Drew Brees type quarterback. No, I did not say he is Drew Brees. I say he's a Drew Brees type quarterback. He's a guy who is about timing, even though, his timing is a little bit off when it comes, compared to Drew Brees. He's a guy that throws the ball little short passes just like Drew Brees, doesn't have a strong arm just like Drew Brees. So I think that they're kind of one and the same when it comes to the makeup of a quarterback. But, we know that Drew Brees is better, but I don't think that the New Orleans Saints are looking for a guy that can throw the ball 50, 60 yards. That's not the way the Saints play. That would be nice if they actually can get a guy that can throw the ball down the field deep, but I really honestly don't care. Like, as long as the ball getting where it needs to be, and as long as you're putting it in the hands of your playmakers, I think you should be okay. Bro, I just got the news that Amari Cooper might be out. He done rolled his ankle. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard he was getting an MRI on his ankle. Man, I ain't buying that. The reason why I'm not buying that because a couple years ago, I think it was this was years ago, but I remember the Saints didn't think DeMarcus Ware was gonna play one game because I think the week before they were supposed to play the Saints, he actually left on a stretcher. And people were like, oh, man, DeMarcus Ware is not going to play. And then he ended up playing for in that Saints game. I think he had like 3 or 4 sacks. So, if I was the Saints, I would scheme as if Amari Cooper is playing. Until they say he not playing, I'm still prepping for this dude. I'm prepping for him. So, if they're not going to do that, then I feel like that would be a bad move because he can easily just come in and they can put him in a lineup. So even though he may not play, you still got to treat him as if he is going to play. Let's see. Okay, I answered that about Morstead, Mari Cooper. Who do you feel needs to step up in the secondary for the Cowboys? Everybody. Everybody, 23. Everybody, man. Like, this has to be a team effort. Like, until Drew Brees gets back, even when Drew Brees gets back, you got to make this a team effort, man. Like, everybody got to step up. I mean, the Cowboys, they have some good wide receivers, man. You got Randall Cobb. You got Amari Cooper. I don't know if Gallup playing, but Michael Gallup, man, you got Devin Smith, a guy who from Ohio State. I think he was drafted by the Jets. I seen him play against the Redskins. He had a real good game. You got Jason Witten. He's slow as a snail, but he can catch that football. I mean, they got a lot of players, man, and not to mention Ezekiel Elliott catching out of the backfield and Tony Pollard. So these guys are really good offensively, man. So the Saints going to have to really bring their A game, man, to stop some of these guys. Like I said last week, the jury is out, man. The jury is out. People know that all they got to do is throw the ball downfield to the Saints. So these guys better be prepared because I'm telling you, Dak Prescott is going to try to come into the Superdome and throw the ball down that field, man, because he feel like good things are going to happen. It's rather going to be a pass interference or it's going to be a big play by one of his playmakers. So they better be ready, man. Everybody need to put their best foot forward. Heard the news that Drew Brees will be at the game Sunday night. He'll be wearing a headset to guide Bridgewater. That's a good thing. You know, Drew Brees on the sidelines is a good thing. It's always good to have that extra coach on the sidelines. Drew Brees knows the game. He can see the field. He can see what's going on. And, you know, when each drive where Teddy Bridgewater goes off the field, Drew can kind of, coach him and let him know what he actually sees and talk to him and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was kind of happy that Drew Brees didn't go to. I was just glad he didn't go to Seattle. I mean, I'm gonna tell you why. I just think that it probably would have been a little bit of a distraction. You know, I liked the fact that he wasn't in Seattle because it made those guys look and say, man, our leader not here. I gotta step up. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be that leader because our leader's not there. And I'm not saying the guys won't do that this week, but I think that Drew Brees not being there kind of motivated those guys to try to put forth their best performance. And now Drew Brees is going to be on the sideline with Teddy Bridgewater this week. I think it's going to be a good look. I think that Teddy Bridgewater got that first game out of the way. He probably had some jitters. And, you know what I'm saying, he shook that off. So I think he probably going to be playing a lot better in this game against the Cowboys. Let's see. Teddy probably had the same reaction Willie Beeman had when they called his number in any given Sunday. My name is Willie Beeman. I keep the ladies. Yeah, man. Yeah, I knew he was nervous, man. Like, just imagine you sitting on the sidelines and you thinking that you ain't going to play because you got this quarterback that never miss a game, and all of a sudden you're like, Teddy, warm up. And, all of a sudden you got to go out there, man, and going up against a team that represents the NFC in a Super Bowl, like, wow. So Teddy Bridgewater, I mean, he did a good job last week, man. I know he was a little nervous, man. I think people need to get help. Man, people just need to understand it. Like, this man didn't play really in years, man. So for him to go out there, man, and just play that game, I think that's going to give him a little bit more confidence. And not to mention, it seems like people in the NFL are really rooting for this dude. So I'm glad to see that, man. And he said even in his post-game locker room speech, he said, thank y'all for accepting me, man. Like, he understood, like, Drew Brees is the leader, but thank y'all for playing for me because they gave him the game ball after the game was over. So, man, that shows you right there, man, how much respect they got for Teddy. So I'm happy for him. let's see. Drew guiding Teddy will be a huge help, and I think it'll open up the playbook, especially throwing the ball down the field against Dallas. Yeah, it may be, man. Like, it may help, but I think they're gonna open up the playbook. I think that Sean Payton and the offensive staff did a good job. It seemed like to me like they kind of went back to his Minnesota days and seen some of the things that he did well. They probably set him down, talked to him, and said, "Hey, Teddy, okay, look, we've been watching this tape, and we see some things that you do really well. Is there anything like you feel like you can be comfortable with that you want us to know about?" And Teddy probably told him, and they probably told him, well, I think you do this really good right here. Let's go ahead and put that in there. And they came up with a game plan. So I think that this week they're probably going to say, okay, Teddy, we did this week. Now we're going to open it up just a little bit more. So I think that you're going to see a little bit of an elevation of Teddy Bridgewater's game, because the more he plays, the more comfortable he'll be, and the more comfortable Sean Payton and the offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael will be calling plays for Teddy. So it'll be interesting to see. Let's see. Glad we beat Seattle, not focus on beating Dallas. Like, I know it, man. I know a lot of people don't like the Cowboys. Like, I'm one of them. I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys. I stayed in Dallas for 5 years, and it was like during the time when T.O. was there. I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys. I can't stand their fans. Their fans are the most delusional fans in history. Like, they always talking about them 5 Super Bowls. Like, we got 5 Super Bowl. We got 5. I'm like, man, dude, y'all didn't win nothing since 95. Like, 1995 was a long time, but they act as if this was just last week or something. And like, it is just pathetic, man. Like, win something. Honestly, the Dallas Cowboys for years just been making it off their name. I just don't get it. For a team that barely went to the playoffs, barely win, they were always on primetime television, man. Always on primetime television. And honestly, I can't stand it. I just can't. Like, it's basically like, you get rewarded for being mediocre or something. Like, man, them rings are so rusted. Like, just do something. But I just can't stand their fan base. Their fan base is delusional. Glad we brought Stefan Anthony back to the team. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it, too. He wasn't a bad linebacker. He just struggled in coverage. He was a short tackler and everything like that. Like I said, he's more of that early 90s linebacker, a big, solid dude that, somebody catch the ball, make a tackle. He a guy that probably have like 10 or 11 tackles in a game, but if they throw that ball out the backfield, he getting posterized. Let's see. Who do you think the Super Bowl favorite is? Representing the AFC, got to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Representing the NFC, got to be the Rams. It is what it is. I would throw the Cowboys in there too, and I'd throw the Saints in there. But I think the way that the media wanted, Cowboys 1, Rams 2, and everybody else fall in, But I think what you're looking at with the AFC, with Patrick Mahomes, he out there balling. It just seems like the way they playing ain't even fair. The New England Patriots, they out there blowing people out, and defense looking straight legit out there. You got some good teams, in the AFC. But I think that you got to, in the NFC too, you got to talk about the Green Bay Packers as well. It seems like they got a decent defense this season, so they're very dangerous as well. Let's see. People saying we going to lose against the Cowboys because we don't have Brees. People still doubting. Let them doubt. Let them doubt, young Nola. Let them doubt. Like, I love it. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I love it that people are doubting the New Orleans Saints. Let them go out there, because those guys feed off of that. They feed off the fact that the media talking about them and saying that these guys are going helpless without the way that they present things. You can really tell, like, they don't pay no attention to the Saints. They probably got some interns that tell, man, watch this Saints game because we're going to talk about them tomorrow. Or give me some notes that, I can use on the show. Like, these guys don't know nothing about no Saints. All they know about is the Cowboys, NFC East teams, Tom Brady. Oh, he 42 years old. That's all they know, man. They don't know nothing about the Saints, man. And the only thing they really know about him is Drew Brees. They don't know about anybody else. So, they probably just thinking it's a couple years back when Drew Brees was basically just the is-all and a be-all of the Saints. But those days are gone, man. This team can win in all different types of ways. And it's about time the media start giving this team credit for being good. Hopefully we give them Cowboys their first loss. Yeah, I think it's payback time. But once again, we're going to talk about that later on in the week. This year, Eli gave up 4 catches. That's pretty impressive. I guess a lot of people don't pay attention to that, though, Greg, because, when people just see, like, the play by Fuller and stuff like that, they look at it and be like, man, this dude out here getting posterized. We got to stop that, dude. I just feel like when people just see a guy get beat on a play, all of a sudden they go right to their phone and start tapping. This guy sucks. Like, come on, man. Like, these guys on the other side of the ball are good too. Like, these are good players too. These guys aren't Pop Warner players. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you see somebody like Lattimore getting smoked and getting roasted by Hopkins, I take that all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are great players. Like, these are guys who are elite at their position. So I don't feel like we need to just keep on just going at it. Like, like every time like somebody make a play or miss a tackle, like you're not going to see perfection every time the New Orleans Saints take the field. You're just not. You're not going to see perfection. So these guys are going to give up plays because, man, the guys that they're going up against are great in their own right. So we cannot, we can't forget about that. So, I mean, let's just watch the whole game and then critique it. But I be seeing people like just one play, guy miss a tackle, man, he sucked, cut him. He drop a pass, he sucked. They need to cut him. Like, watch the whole game, man. Like, watch the whole thing unfold, and watch it over the course of time. Because I mean, a lot of people, they just wear their emotions on their sleeve, and we gotta stop doing that. We gotta look at the whole. We got to look at the whole picture, man, instead of just looking at it in little clips. I'd rather them give up big plays than points. I agree, Annie. That's what I'm talking about. Bend but don't break. I mean, as long as they're not allowing teams to get into the end zone, as long as they stopping teams on 4th down like they did against Seattle, I'm cool with that. I mean, the offense, the NFL is designed for the offense to succeed anyway. You know what I'm saying? The defense playing from behind anywhere it go, so they're going to give up plays because the way that the NFL is set up for the offense. Mahomes is a serious quarterback. He makes crazy throws. Metalhead, absolutely. It's funny that he probably would have ended up being a Saint if the Kansas City Chiefs didn't move up to get him. Then wouldn't that be crazy? Like, I wonder how that would be. All these years, Drew Brees been in New Orleans, and would Patrick Mahomes be sitting on the bench that whole time as Drew Brees as Drew Brees plays until, he no longer wants to play? Or would the New Orleans Saints, cut Drew Brees or trade him? That would be interesting, right? I mean, because there's no way in the world you would let somebody with the talent of Patrick Mahomes be sitting on the bench for 2 and 3 years, even though you have Drew Brees. I think it would have been like one of them Joe Montana type moments when you had Steve Young on the side and the 49ers decided to go with Steve Young and send Joe Montana to the Kansas City Chiefs back in the day. Would have been interesting, though. Who do you think the Super Bowl favorite is? Oh, yeah, I answered that one for you, Pennywise. What do you think of Marcus Davenport so far this season? I think he had his best game last week. I think I seen some nastiness about him last week. I seen some I seen some savage, you know what I'm saying? I seen some dog in him, like he was all over the field. He was making tackles and as long as he's progressing, I think that's a great thing. I think that we in the Who Dat Nation, we're giving Davenport a little bit of a hard time. If you look at Marcus Davenport's stats for the first 2 years of his career and you look at Cameron Jordan's, he actually having a better career in the first 2 seasons than Cameron Jordan had in his first 2 seasons. last season, Marcus Davenport had 4.5 sacks. In his rookie season, Cam Jordan only had one. You know, like in his second season, I think Cam Jordan may have had like 7 sacks or 6 or something like that. So Marcus Davenport had, he had a better rookie season than one of the best pass rushers in Saints history, Cameron Jordan. So I think a lot of people need to pay attention to that. I think that we just kind of looking at what the Saints gave up for this guy, and the expectations are high, but I think he gonna get better, man. I just think that he just need to play loose and play fearless. I think that he gets in his own way sometime. You should never be up 27-7, then take your foot off the gas playing ultra conservative. That's how you end up like the Falcons in the Super Bowl. King Arthur, that is Russell Wilson, man. That is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a great quarterback. Not surprising at all that the Seattle Seahawks made it interesting towards the end, because Russell Wilson is an incredible quarterback. Don't get no credit for being great. Mostly because he out there in Seattle, and people don't look at Seattle as as one of those teams that need to be talked about. I mean, back in the day, they felt like he was getting led by the Legion of Boom, which, in all honesty, he was, because he was young. But now that is definitely his team, and he's an incredible player, man. So I would never, ever take anything away from Russell Wilson, man. So that did not surprise me. He would do that to anybody, and I've seen him do that several times. Davenport has been good. He was very good versus Seattle. Krause, you definitely right about that. Hendrickson had 3 sacks. However, Davenport has a lot of work to do. No, hold on. Let me read that again. Hendrickson had 3 sacks. However, Davenport had a lot to do with it. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, Hendrickson is eating, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to take anything from Hendrickson. I mean, he's gotten better. It seems like he got better. He's stronger. He's leaner. And I think that the Saints really are glad that he's healthy, man. The last few seasons that Hendrickson has been in a Saints uniform, he hasn't been healthy. Like he's always been hurt. And that had a lot to do with him not being in full shape. He's been weight been up and down. And Sean Payton even mentioned that. He said he's at a weight that I'm comfortable with seeing him in, and he kind of toned up and stuff like that. And like I said, he got stronger. So I think that he is having a really good season because he decided to go out there and take his career seriously and make sure that his body is in tip-top shape to do what he's doing right now. So I think they feed off each other, though, but they both are doing a good job. Davenport is improving in run support. I think he still needs to start getting a little bit more pressure on the quarterback, but that's going to come in time with more tape and also just more reps. I think he'll start to, play a little better. The light will start coming on for young Davenport. Do you think the Saints will be okay without Drew Brees? I think they will be okay without Drew Brees. They have a good nucleus of players. You got good leadership. I mean, y'all heard that. Y'all heard that speech by Demario Davis. Y'all heard it. These guys got some leaders on this team, man. And it used to be back in the day where it was just Drew Brees. The only person you can look at just being a leader on this team. Them and maybe like Malcolm Jenkins and Roman Harper. But when you out there getting posterized, and Malcolm Jenkins was definitely not the Malcolm Jenkins he is in Philly at this time. I mean, what can you say to other guys when you out there getting posterized and smoked and and missing and whiffing on tackles? But Drew Brees, now he has different leaders. He got the Cam Jordans. He got the Teron Armsteads. He got the Demario Davises. I mean, he got guys that are high character, and guys that they can actually lean on to actually lead by example. So I think they should be okay. Are they going to win all these games? I don't know about all that, but I think they can do just enough to just kind of keep the thing going, man, until Drew get back. Sports live in the ATL. Pudettes still being about the call. I will give you Busley's suck ass. This is what I love, right? Now, this is called the State of the Saints podcast, right? Where we talk New Orleans Saints. Yet, we have Atlanta Falcon fans who want to come on here and troll. Usually, I'll just stroll past this, but I'm just going to be 100 with you right now. Sports Live, if my team was playing as trash as the Atlanta Falcons are right now, I wouldn't be on nobody page trolling at all. See, this is the problem that I have. You all are so focused on other teams around you, you're not even paying attention to your own team. Because if you were paying attention to your own team, you would actually see that their defense is suspect. You will see that the majority of the money that y'all spending are spent on offensive players, so your defense will never improve. You will never get to where you need to be because Matt Ryan is turning the ball over in the red zone. Yet again, y'all have sorry red zone efficiency. Let me see. Freeman is not what he was. Keanu Neal out for the season. So while you out here trolling on New Orleans Saints pages, you need to be trying to figure out what y'all going to do down the stretch because right now y'all looking like the worst team in NFC South. And not to mention, man, y'all blew a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. I keep telling y'all, like, y'all can talk about blown calls and all that. I'd rather the whole league know that the Saints got screwed than for everybody to know for a fact that y'all should be Super Bowl champions right now, that y'all should be champions. But, honestly, I couldn't even show my face. I wouldn't even be able to open my mouth if I knew that my team gave up a 25-point lead in the biggest game ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what all kids aspire to do right now. They got a kid throwing a football up in his yard right now with aspirations of making a Super Bowl, pretending that he's a commentator to the 50, to the 40 because he playing in the Super Bowl. That was y'all moment and y'all blew it. And you want to talk about somebody blowing? Please. Atlanta, man, y'all need to go ahead somewhere. I normally, like I said, pass up the trolls, but when a team sucks as much as y'all have been this season, that Philadelphia win that y'all had was basically some luck. And honestly, when you lose to Jacoby Brissett, a backup quarterback, even though I got a lot of respect for Jacoby, but he's not Andrew Luck, I would say go sit down somewhere, all right? Y'all focus on Matt Ryan not turning the ball over in the red zone, okay? All right? Before y'all come at a team that won the NFC South 2 straight years in a row. And eventually, they're going to get past y'all so y'all been holding on to that 4-game lead overall. So when the Saints beat y'all 4 consecutive times, then y'all won't have that to hold on to. Then y'all will realize that the New Orleans Saints are overall better than y'all. The reason why y'all even play on network television most of the time is because y'all in the division with the Saints. So let's just be honest. Assuming Brees comes back in 6 weeks, what do you think the Saints record would be? Man. What that mean? He coming back about week 8? Okay, I'll put it like this. I think that the Saints are capable of going 4-2. I think they're capable of going 4-2 down this stretch. Wouldn't surprise they go 3-3. All right, but I'll say they go 4-2. I think they're gonna lose at least 2 of the games down the stretch. Let's see. I live in the DFW area. I hope we drag the Cowgirls through the mud and shut these fans up. Yeah, man, I hope so too, Travis. What part of DFW you stay in? But anyway, Travis, yeah, I hope so too, man. You know, Dallas Cowboy fans are the most obnoxious fans, especially when they be winning. Especially when they winning. Jesus. Man, they just annoying. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay, y'all talking right now. You saying y'all stay in Grapevine. I actually, man, when I lived in Dallas, I stayed in Addison for a little while, and I stayed in Carrollton. Those 2 places that I used to stay, man. I used to chill on Beltline Road back in the day. That used to be my spot, man, around Addison and stuff like that on Beltline Road, man. I used to Go out there, man, when I'm off on the weekend, go hit the club up. Y'all know how I go, man. You know, there's always something to do in Dallas. Like, I will say this. If you're like a swinging bachelor, you know what I'm saying, and you just want to go out there and just chill, man, and just live your best life, man, that's the place to be right there. Like, for real, because there's always something to do in Dallas. Always something to do. Okay, let's see. Cowboys defeat Saints 26-23, sadly. Nothing wrong with that, man. And I don't want nobody to, think, okay, man, just because I predict the Saints to lose, like if a fan do that, that mean I ain't no fan. That ain't true, man. I mean, sometimes, man, you just looking at things objectively. I mean, there's sometimes where people get mad at me because I have the Saints. I'd be like, okay, like the first game of the season. Like, I didn't think the Saints were going to beat the Texans. I was happy they beat them. But I honestly, on my prediction, I had them losing. But, I mean, when you look at it, that don't make you no less of a fan because you think that they're going to lose the game. Like, that don't mean you ain't got no hope in the team. I'm be hoping I'll be wrong. But I'll just be trying to look at things objectively, so if you say, okay, man, they're going to lose, that don't make you no less of a fan, in my opinion. Let's see. But anyway, we have Atlanta Falcon trolls out here, man. Once again, I just don't get it. I used to stay on Beltline and Preston in Dallas, man. I ain't stay that far from you then. I definitely don't know about Preston, man. You definitely, man, I wasn't that far from there at all. Let's see, for sure, they love men from, okay, yeah, I guess y'all talking about people in Dallas. Yeah, I work in Addison. Yeah, man, I lived in Addison, I say about 2 years. I used to work off 75. I was an overnight manager at CVS Pharmacy on off 75 of what was that, North Central, and then I worked in Plano for a little while, and man, I mean, I just traveled all over. I loved Dallas, man. I loved the time I was there. I just hate the traffic, man. I just hate the traffic in Dallas. I mean, everything you do, you have to get on the highway to go. You got to get on 635. And 635, they always got some construction going on over there, man. And then you have to take, you end up taking a toll road and stuff like that, man. And those bills add up, and man, I don't know. I mean, it was a fun place to stay and stuff like that, but man, that traffic get overwhelming, like for real. Like, man, sometimes you just want to go do what you got to do and go home. Can't do that in Dallas. Let's see. So Jaguars wouldn't trade Jalen Ramsey. Now look, he is on the trading block. And as for Marshon Lattimore, remember, he is not getting burnt by any Joe Blows. Yeah, man, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't think people just be understanding the level of competition, like these dudes be going up against. And I think people just get this false perception about cornerbacks because they feel like if a good cornerback, if the ball come his way, he knock it down every time. Like, that ain't true, man. Even some of the best, even the Patrick Petersons, the Richard Shermans, Deion Sanders back in the day. I mean, man, I don't care how good you are. You gonna meet your match. Guys gonna make plays. These guys get paid a lot of money too, and I think that we need to understand it. Like, people be wanting these guys to go out there and knock balls down, and you know what I'm saying. Every time the ball go up there, be like, man, like, bruh, these dudes getting paid $100 million to catch the ball. Like big time contract. So just as much pride as the cornerback taking his job, trust me, the wide receiver take just as much pride in theirs trying to, catch the ball as well. So remember that. What the Saints game plan for Jared Cook on Sunday? Look, I don't know what the game plan is for Jared Cook, but I know he needs to play better. Man, he looking very Kobe Fleener-ish out there. For real. Like, you remember when we got Kobe Fleener? I remember how excited we were because we were like, oh, man, we got Kobe Fleener, man. He was out there balling with the coach. And we thought that he was going to do something, and then he turned around, didn't do nothing. That's how Jared Cook looking, man. Jared Cook had opportunity to sustain a drive against the Seattle Seahawks in that game, and he ended up dropping a ball. I don't know what's going on with him, man. Like, I don't. I know he can play much better. I don't know if he hurt. I don't know if he just his timing is off, but he has been awful. Like, he has been god awful for the New Orleans Saints this season. Like, he has not been a good return on investment. So hopefully he can get it together. If he's dealing with some kind of injury, hopefully it'll heal up. But this is not good representation, man. You know, for a guy that a lot of people in the Who Dat Nation were excited and kept asking me about on show after show in the offseason, man. You heard anything about Jared Cook? Heard anything about Jared Cook? Like, now to a point, I'm like, man, why were we spending so much time on this guy? I mean, he got to step it up. I think we're going to come to play this Sunday. Cowboys don't really know how bad we want this. That was a bad loss last year. We need to atone for that. That's a good point, you know. I mean, last season it was a tough loss for the Saints, and who knows, man. I mean, that's a lot of motivation right there. We can trade Eli Apple in the second round for Ramsey. Man, no. That ain't happening, man. Marvin, that is not going to happen, and I want people to understand this too. When you're talking about getting Jalen Ramsey in a contract year, trust and believe, the New Orleans Saints are going to have to pay this man a lot of money in order to keep him in New Orleans. And you got to keep in mind that the New Orleans Saints have several other players that they need to pay down the line, like a Alvin Kamara, like a Lattimore, like a Ramchick. You know, like these guys need to get paid, man. So as far as like getting this guy, I mean, that's a huge investment right there. If you gonna get him, you know, man, you must be counting on losing a couple guys because he gonna demand a lot of money. He gonna demand a lot of money. I'm from that 9th Ward, you heard me? I stay in Plano, Texas, though. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm from the 9th Ward, too, man. Yeah, born and raised in the 9th Ward, man. 3017 North Priya, 2241 Montague Street. You know what I'm saying? Right down the street from Florida Avenue. That's where I grew up at, man. That's my old stomping grounds and stuff like that. But I mean, New Orleans is forever going to be synonymous to me, and it's going to forever be in my heart, whether I stay there or not. You know, I stay in South Carolina now, but I'm forever New Orleans, man. I'm quick to tell somebody that. As a matter of fact, you know, I work at a radio station. I'm a radio DJ as well. I did an interview, and they're having a jazz festival down here in Myrtle Beach, and I was talking to the guy that organized it. And I was telling him I'm from the birthplace of jazz, man. And, you know, he got a kick out of that. So I'm always representing New Orleans no matter where I go. Most def ain't no back ways nowhere because the streets not in blocks. No, that's true, man. The streets are not in blocks. And if you do go on the road, then you're going to get stopped by a whole bunch of traffic lights. I mean, it's just the truth, man. Like, ain't no way around it. They got so many lights out there, I guess, because you need them to separate traffic. But, whoo, man. I stay on Park Lane in Dallas. Back in Louisiana now, where I belong. I'm Louisiana born and raised. Baby, who that? Yeah, man, Park Lane. I know about all that, man. But ain't no place like New Orleans, man. Ain't no place like it. Love your channel and love the Saints with everything in me. Raquel, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I love the Saints too, and I love you for supporting this channel. Like, I really do. I cannot say that enough. Man, it's just humbling, like, when you all like reach out and comment and stuff like that, because man, it just started out, man, just me being frustrated about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game last season in week 1. And the next thing I know, I mean, now we have a channel with almost 3,000 subscribers. I say we because, hey, ain't no me without y'all. So we almost got 3,000 subscribers, and I'm appreciative of that. Let's see. I see we reached the part of the of the podcast where Antonio Brown name come up, I'll take AB no lie. Young Nola, hey, bruh. Hey, you my guy. But hey, no. That ain't it, man. That is not it. I do not need Antonio 6'9" on the squad, man. I don't need him, man. All that snitching and stuff like that, man, and all that pillow talking that he doing, man. Nah. The Saints have a good chemistry inside of their locker room, and I like to keep it that way. It doesn't matter how much talent a guy actually have. When you got as many issues as Antonio Brown has shown that he had, I mean, I'm saying that I'm just going by the eye test, okay? And what he showed me, that he has a lot of issues, and issues that require him not to be playing football at this time. So I think he needs to get himself together. Whatever going on with him personally, I think he needs to get that together before he even talk about somebody playing football. And maybe we can reestablish this or rediscover this at a later date. But man, absolutely not. I would not be okay if Antonio Brown got signed by the Saints. I mean, sometimes, man, you just gotta be like, man, I know he's talented, but that ain't what we need for this team. Is Patrick Robinson playing lockdown because I'm not hearing a word from him? That's a good thing, right? He is playing. You just ain't know like that. If you're not hearing about a guy and he's playing, that might be a good thing, you know. So he's doing his job. So shouts out to Patrick Robinson because he's been out there. He's not hurt or anything. Dennis Allen is part of the blame on those big plays. Dennis Allen is the blame. I think he has a role to play. You know, it's his job to make sure that he puts his defensive players in the best position to succeed. I think he did a good job last week. I think that's probably one of the best defensive showings they had all season. All things considered, I mean, the late game heroics by Russell Wilson, but game wasn't even that close, man. I mean, they scored all that during garbage time. So that was a good showing for him, man. Good outing. So Dennis Allen, yeah, it is his fault, you know, because he has to make sure that he puts guys in positions to succeed. But I'm not going to say that, that he did a bad job last week. Let's see. I wear my Saints hard hat to work and get WTF looks all day. Hey, man, look. You're a Saints fan, you know, like, and I guess like where you are, you know, is, Dallas country, Cowboy country, you know. So, but I noticed, man, like when I lived in Dallas, man, people ain't really give me a hard time about the Saints. You know, they kind of just understood. I guess probably during that time because the Saints were pretty good and the Cowboys wasn't. So I guess they couldn't really talk because every time the Saints were playing the Cowboys, the Saints were beating them. God is real. This is not going to be a Thursday game like last year. Saints play better on Sundays. Who that? I got to be in that city. Oh, man. Hopefully, man, it's not the Thursday night game, and hopefully, you know, they go out there and they do what they need to do. AB and Colin Cap, get both of them. I don't want Antonio Brown. Like, if you want to get Kaepernick, I look, that's cool. I ain't got no problem with Cap. AB, he needs some help. I don't know if he got CTE or I don't know, that Vontaze Burfict hit on him, you know what I'm saying, messed up his brain and scrambled it or something, but something wrong with Antonio Brown, man. That ain't just, I don't know, man. I ain't never seen nobody like that. I ain't never seen nobody that bitter and jealous and have absolutely no reason to be that way. We probably can get AB for cheap. Nah, bro, that ain't it. Let's see. Lattimore went from top 100 to top to top burn to top bum. Excuse me. Cooper will abuse him just like last week. Look, I'm not calling Lattimore no bum, man, because he's not. Marshon Lattimore is not a bum. You know, like, I just think that He's just going up against guys that are really good, and cornerbacks are going to give up big plays. That's just what it is, man. The offense is. The NFL is catered to the offense, and I think we just need to understand that. But once again, I do not critique a cornerback based on every time he a pass is thrown his way, he knock it down. That's a rarity right there. Guys are going to give up plays, but it's about, are you constantly getting burnt? Like, are people like getting, accumulating 150, 200 yards off you every single week? And I don't think that's what he do, all things considered, I just think that he's the best cornerback that the Saints ever had. I don't think, honestly, I don't care what anybody says. Marshon Lattimore is the best cornerback the New Orleans Saints ever had. And you can look at the past and all that kind of stuff, but he's the best cornerback the New Orleans Saints ever had, in my opinion. There's no other, and I've been watching New Orleans Saints since I couldn't even talk. Okay, since I was a baby. I ain't never seen no cornerback the New Orleans Saints ever had play better than him. For real. Let's see. WTF do you mean we gotta pay Lattimore and AK? Wyatt, what I meant by that is, if you go out here and get Ramsey, I think somebody mentioned Jalen Ramsey. He's in the last year of his rookie deal. So he's going to demand max money. So, and I'm saying, like, if you were to trade for this guy, you would have to pay him, the highest paid contract for a cornerback when his deal is up. So I'm just saying, would that be a smart decision when you got to pay guys like Ramczyk and Lattimore and Kamara? So that was the point I was trying to make, and I feel like you need to pay these guys. And we all know that Alvin Kamara is going to demand a lot of money. He definitely going to be the highest paid running back in the National Football League when his contract up. I think the New Orleans Saints will win by 3. That's pretty. I agree. I agree with that. Window. It says, I'm from the lower 9th ward, from 1317 Rayner Street. Honestly, I never heard of it. I never heard of it. I had an uncle, rest in peace. He just recently passed. Tommy Jones. He stayed in the lower 9th ward. He stayed on Andrew Street for years, man. He stayed on Andrew Street, right down the street from Lawless. And yeah, man. But that was one of my favorite uncles right there, man. He passed away, stage 4 cancer, and he was a big time Saints fan too. So, that made me just think about him. So, rest in peace to my uncle Tommy Jones. Lifelong Saints fan. It's not many people that you can say met Prince Charles, man. He actually met Prince Charles during the time of Hurricane Katrina. Of course, the lower 9th ward was really affected by Katrina. And Prince Charles and I think Prince William actually came to America. And my uncle had the opportunity to meet Prince Charles, man. So I thought that was pretty dope. But rest in peace, Uncle Tone. We called him Tome, even though his name was Tommy, because he always referred to himself as Tommy Jones. But I loved him, man. And once again, he stayed in the 9th ward. But, man, rest in peace. TJ, since you stay in South Carolina, you have a lot of Panthers friends. Honestly, bruh, you would think Invictus, but no. Like, people are not Carolina Panthers fans around here. Maybe because I stay in South Carolina. Okay, South Carolina, from where I stay at, is maybe 3 hours from Charlotte, where the Carolina Panthers play, but a lot of people around here are Cowboy fans. They got a lot of Cowboy fans around here. They got a lot of Philadelphia Eagle fans around here. I guess because a lot of people, they come from those areas. They come from like Pennsylvania and New York and stuff like that. So you get a lot of NFC East teams, fans around here. So, but you don't really get a lot of Carolina Panthers. I got like I'm trying to see. I probably have to say about one friend, and that's the guy that I do the NFC South versus NFL podcast with. My boy Mike Ricks. That's the only person I know that's a diehard Carolina Panther fan. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's plenty more, but no, to be honest with you, not really. Yeah, and it would be fun too. I wish I did, because then you can have somebody to talk smack to. Trayshawn Hughes says, you keep saying pay Lattimore. Why I would rather pay Ramsey now, and when Lattimore contract comes up, pay him like a second cornerback, and if he wants more, let him leave. That's a good. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, if you want to go that route, but I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that. But if the Saints want to do that, I mean, that's not the worst idea I've ever heard. Like I just like Lattimore, man. I just like him. I mean, I'm just not. I just think that he's just going up against elite receivers, man. I mean, just what it is. Like, the man just going up against elite receivers. I mean, we all know what Brandon Cooks is, man. We all know what Cooper Kupp is. Like, if you don't know what these guys are doing, like, these guys not scrubs. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys can get 100 yards. And I think we all know that from Brandon Cooks. Is Brandon Cooks the most elusive receiver ever? Absolutely not. But the man is good. Like, I think we think that, we seen this firsthand. Cooper Kupp. Man got hurt last season, but before that, he was out there beasting. Hopkins, Hopkins, people consider him the best wide receiver in the league. So, not like he going up against some scrubs. And DK Metcalf, I mean, come on, man. Y'all watch the SEC. Y'all know how good this dude is. Let's see. Peterson is suspended. Yeah, he's serving a 4-game suspension. He'll be back in week 5, so he'll be back after this week. Carolina Kitty Cats. Oh, man. Let's see. It's a lot of Cowboy fans in northern Louisiana. Yeah. You got a lot of Cowboy fans in Louisiana, because all them years, the New Orleans Saints, when they wasn't good, man, we can't pretend, especially like people in New Orleans, man. We know how bad the Saints used to be. Everybody used to have 2 starter jackets back in the day. They used to have a 49er starter jacket, or they had the Dallas Cowboy starter jacket. If you had a Saints starter jacket on back in the day, people would laugh you up out of school. Like, for real, it's facts. And I feel like that's the reason why you have a lot of those Cowboy fans, because people didn't want to be affiliated with quote unquote losers during that time, and the Saints wasn't really that good. So I think that played a big role in there. But I mean, me personally, man, I always loved the home team. Like, I always loved them, man. I don't care. My heart was broken a many days watching Saints games, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, because now that they are successful, it makes them winning just even more special, because all those tough times and when the Saints wasn't really that good, you remember those days. Derek Tyler says Lattimore will be fine. Saints usually start slow and defense will pick it up. Yep, that's usually how they do it. Honestly, I think they've been playing. They played much better earlier this season than they did in the past years, though. Let's see. A lot of people on Lattimore jock because of his rookie season. He had one good year in college because he was hurt. We drafted him to be better, and the NFL is about what have you done for me lately. Man, it just seems like to me, Trayshawn, you just don't like Lattimore, man. Like it seems like you just have it's like you got a problem with Marshon Lattimore for some reason, man. But I don't know, man. Like I said, I just think that I've seen worse. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is I've seen worse. Okay? I've seen worse cornerbacks come through the Saints organization. And if you're saying that this guy isn't good, give me at least 7 cornerbacks that's better than him right now. Give me 7. Okay, they got 32 teams. Give me 7 cornerbacks that's better than Marshon Lattimore right now. Okay, let me help you out here. Let me see. The only people I can think of, Jalen Ramsey. I don't even want to say Richard Sherman. He a shell of himself right now. You probably can throw Chris Harris out there. He playing good. With the guy out there in Los Angeles for the Rams, not the Rams. The key to lead. What's the other guy? The guy from the Chargers. So I mean, besides them, like them 4 or 5 guys, I mean, I don't know. He up there with them. I mean, I can't think of 7 cornerbacks better than him. I just can't. Let's see. That's why Lil Wayne a Green Bay Packers fan. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Lil Wayne always been like a Green Bay Packers fan. He ain't never really been no Saints fan. He even said it. He said back in my day the Saints were terrible. And he said, I feel like, I'm just celebrating them because they winning, which I can respect that. I can respect that. Malcolm Butler. You think Malcolm Butler is better? You think Malcolm Butler is better than Marshon Lattimore? Man, you talking about getting roasted and toasted. Gee. Man. Definitely not. Marcus Ryan smoked like a brisket, burnt like a biscuit. Man, yep. Malcolm Butler is a bust. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Like Malcolm Butler, I mean, he was a Super Bowl hero. And everybody, just like, oh, man, this guy supposed to be good. He got benched in the Super Bowl, and then the Titans gave him that big contract, and he played so awful they benched him. They benched him like last season. Before they put him back in, they were like, man, we need to put this guy out here. He wasting our money if we just got him sitting on the bench. And, I mean, he's played better. He's played better like now, but, man, he not that good. Saints aren't giving up multiple high draft picks. It ain't happening. I will always be a diehard Saints fan until I die. Yep. He got torched against the Jags. I would sign Ramsey too, though. Lockdown corners. Jeff Blake had the best deep ball I ever seen. Such a underrated Saints player. He led us to the playoffs in 2000 in the first place. Actually, Aaron Brooks led us to the playoff, okay? Jeff Blake got hurt. Aaron Brooks came up in there, you know what I'm saying, and he played pretty good. All right, but I will say this, Jeff Blake was definitely good for the Saints. Jeff Blake was good for the Cincinnati Bengals too, but I don't know. He's one of those underrated quarterbacks for the Saints, ones that people don't really talk about. But in all honesty, I mean, not many Saints quarterbacks are worth talking about. I mean, you got the Billy Joes, Billy Joe Howard, Billy Joe Tolliver, Jim Everett, Wade Wilson, Bobby Abell, Danny Warfel. I mean, they had some trash come through here. Heath Schuler. Man, they had some garbage. Like, whew. Boy, you can smell that. Boy, you can smell that trash 10, 15 miles away. Awful quarterback play. Awful. Darius Slay is good. Yeah, Darius Slay is good. Out there in Detroit. Yeah, he pretty good. I still don't think he better than Lattimore, though. But Butler ain't been good since Seattle. He wasn't good then. He was just Johnny on the spot. Like, I guarantee you, there was a play before he actually caught that interception where he got posterized on. And if he didn't catch the interception, that's what he would have been known for. And nobody wouldn't have said nothing about him. I'm glad we didn't trade for Butler. Yep. That was see what the Patriots did the Saints a favor. Man, that's going to be a tough one Sunday. Yep, it is. What's the deal with Jared Cook, man? He's not living up to why we got him. I agree. He definitely not. I think he needs to play better. Jim Everett, my goodness. Let me see. Man, yeah, he was good with the Rams, but horrible with us. Yeah, he was decent with the Rams, man. He was good. I still remember when he choked up Jim Rome that time, because Jim Rome, the sports talk show host, he kept on calling him Chris Everett. Y'all check that out. It's on YouTube. Just look up Jim Everett chokes up Jim Rome. And Jim Rome kept on calling Jim Everett Chris Everett. He said, look, if y'all keep on doing that, we're going to have to go to commercial break. He said, you called me Chris one more time. He called him Chris. He turned that table over. He told him, though. He said, if you keep calling me that again, y'all got to take a commercial break. But check that out if y'all didn't see that. It's funny stuff. Please don't talk about Aaron Brooks. My headache is coming back. Yeah, man. The New Orleans Saints had some trash, man. Like, for real. They had some trash. Man, awful quarterback play. Awful. Seems like Jared Cook couldn't catch a cold. If he was necking in Alaska. Hope he turns it around. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Jared Cook, but he needs to play better. I mean, he had to play better, man. Like, if he plays better, I think the Saints can really, man, he gonna have to. I say this, I'm not gonna go in, like I said, I'm not gonna go into the Dallas Cowboy game, but he gonna have to play better because they're gonna try to zero in on Alvin Kamara, and he gonna have to go out there. He gonna have to perform, man. Out of all the wins we need in this first stretch, I think this one may be the most important. It'll prepare Teddy for the Chicago game. Oh man, yeah, I think all of them are important, man. For real, I think they really need to take advantage of this lowly NFC South. Like the NFC South is down this season. It's not where it once was, for the past couple years. It's down, and I think that the Saints need to go ahead and continue to win games and continue to go out here and put forward efforts, to try to pull away from this division so, they can possibly, get, a home game in the playoffs, a first round bye. They go out there and they really need to perform at a high level. Saints still got the best linebacker corps with the Dome Patrol of all time. Yeah, that's true. I think they even did the NFL top 10 linebackers of all time. Or best defenses of all time. No, not the best defenses, but the best linebackers of all time, and they ranked number 1. Yeah, man, Von Johnson, Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling, Sam Mills. Yeah, those guys were the truth, man. 3-4 defense. That they were as advertised, and if Bobby Abel wasn't as trash as he was, which I don't understand. Like when I be listening to Bobby Abel on WWL radio, and I know I'm probably about to cost myself a job because my lifelong dream is to work for the Saints radio network. But at the end of the day, Bobby Abel be talking so greasy on there like this man was league MVP or something. I think he was like a USFL MVP or something like that, back in the day for the Philadelphia, I don't know, Generals or Flyers or whatever the heck he was. But I'm like, dude, you were trash. Like, man, you was out there, like, if you could at least throw at least 2 touchdowns in the game, the Saints probably would have went to the Super Bowl. But he was sitting out there talking all greasy, talking about what guys need to do. Like, it was funny, man. I was actually listening to Bobby Abel, and he was, he was talking about somebody, like, missed a pass or something like that, like, missed a throw. And I think it was Teddy Bridgewater or something like that. He was like, come on, man, you can't miss that. You can't miss that. And Christian Garrick, who's the host of the show, he was like, man, he was like, you ain't never overthrew nobody or missed a pass? He was like, no. I'm like, shh. I'm like, man, let me go back and watch this tape about how you overthrowing all them receivers and stuff like that. Shoot. I'm like, man, he be talking so greasy. Like, I guess he feel like he's so old, he don't think nobody remember that. But, man, Bobby Abel was trash. But anyway. Failed birds suck, okay? No tight end has ever come into Sean Payton's system and performed well their first year. Bobby Abel just about got Eric Boyd killed every game. Yep. man, he was trash, man. He was trash. Uh, he's giving up big plays in zone, not man. Yeah, that's where he struggles in, man. You got cornerbacks that do good in zone. You got ones that do terrible in man, and then vice versa. I mean, I guess it all depends. And he even said it. He said, sometimes you have to go out there and you doing coverages that you're not comfortable with. And honestly, me personally, I think he's actually paying the price because of some of the packages that the secondary have to play in because guys getting posterized. So he's basically got to play in different position and play different coverages he's probably not too comfortable with. So I think that might have something to do with it as well. But versus the Saints, if they actually had some guys that wasn't like liabilities, he probably could just jam guys up and go out there and do his job, and people would be like, man, this dude hit the truth. He said, no, he haven't, because he's always throwing INTs. Yup. Man, Bobby Abel, man, was awful. Like I said, I don't know if he don't think people remember that, but he was trash. They need to use Murray more in the running game Sunday. I think they need to use Latavius Murray a little bit more. I feel like if you're not going to use him, what you got him for, I think that Sean Payton get a little bit too happy with Alvin Kamara, but I think he need to kind of, make sure that he manage Alvin Kamara's like touches, because you don't want to get Alvin Kamara hurt. You get Alvin Kamara hurt, that's a wrap. Jair Alexander better than Lattimore and Byron in the last 2 years, haven't given up nearly as much yards. Jair Alexander, I think he's a second-year guy from Louisville. I watched this guy all in college. I was a huge Jair Alexander fan. Like, I wanted this guy to play for the Saints bad, but I just knew that he was gonna be one of those top picks. Jair Alexander is good. I'm not gonna say anything bad about him, but that defense they had last season was trash. Okay, this season they're playing a lot better. They've improved, but I'm still not gonna say that he's better than Lattimore. I just don't believe that. And then, not to mention the deep type of style of defense that the Green Bay Packers play. It's not like Alexander out there jamming dudes up, locking them down or whatever. Like they play a lot of cover too. Like a lot of it. Hopefully Bridgewater takes that next step Sunday night. Well, maybe. He did a good job. I think it's only gonna get better as his reps grow and he gets more comfortable and gets acclimated with the offense. Murray don't look confident in his runs. Well, it's hard for you to be confident in your runs if you getting few and far between, right? If you don't know when your next run gonna come in, it's hard for you to kind of get that rhythm going. I think that's the reason why you look at somebody like Mark Ingram and why he's so successful in Baltimore is because Baltimore is a team that plays they play smash mouth football, they run the football, and we know that Mark Ingram is like the oven. You know what I'm saying? I call him an oven because he's like you have to preheat the oven. And eventually you preheat the oven, it's going to get to that temperature where it needs to be. You keep on giving Mark Ingram the ball, he's going to get stronger and stronger every carry. So I think the Baltimore Ravens and how he plays actually benefits him. And I feel like it's the same way with Latavius. Latavius, you keep on giving him the ball, eventually he going to break one. Bobby Abel is the offensive version of Toy Cook. Man, I was just thinking about Toy Cook, man. Like, for real. I was gonna say something. Toy Cook was trash, too. Like, straight smoked turkey. I see Quinn Early up there. Somebody said Quinn Early. Man. Vince Buck and all them boys, man. Like, I don't know. Man, them boys had some trash on the team. They should open up the playbook more against Dallas this Sunday, but don't get too cute. I think that Sean Payton, anytime he playing prime time, I think he wants the world to see his genius. He wants to get the world to see how great he is. So what he does is he goes out there, he comes up with all type of weird offensive plays, so people can be talking about it the next day on Monday Morning Quarterback. So I don't be surprised if you see a play from the Saints that you normally don't see, because Sean Payton like to pull out all the stops when the Saints play on Sunday night. Kevin says, well, what up, fam? What's the latest news? The only latest news we got this week coming out of New Orleans Saints camp is they just signed Stefan Anthony back to the New Orleans Saints. That's the only thing I see. And, of course, Caden Ellis, the rookie out of Idaho, he's going to be missing an extensive amount of time. Let me see. Keith Kirkwood got put on IR last week. He's done for the season. Alex Anzalone is done for the season. According to Sean Payton, they thought they was going to get some surgery that was just going to keep him out for a little while. But they say once they opened it up, they realized it was more serious than they thought. So they decided to go ahead and shut him down. Somebody said, boy, Tracy Porter and Corey White. Man, okay, Tracy Porter was good. Corey White, next. Dude, he has given up 500 yards in man coverage, and then you up by 2 touchdowns in Seattle game, and you let a receiver get behind you, and don't talk about the Texan game, 2 plays in 15 seconds. Man, he gave up 500 yards in coverage. Man, I don't know about that one. Like I said, man, cornerback's going to give up plays. They're going to do that, man. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, there's a reason why we hold people like Deion and all these other great cornerbacks in high regard, because they're few and far between. I would take Vince Buck over P.J. Williams. Man, I'd take a pack of non-laters over P.J. Williams. Man, I'd take a day-old Popeyes biscuit over P.J. Williams. Man, I'd take unsweetened Kool-Aid over P.J. Williams. Dude just not good at all, man. Like, I like his energy. I feel like if you give his energy to somebody and wrap it up with some more talent, I think that you'll have yourself a good cornerback. But he ain't it, man. What do you think the Saints have to do to beat the Cowboys? Not that I don't want to answer your question. I'm just not going to, because I feel like if I do, then I'll be giving a prediction. And I want to give y'all something later on in the week. So I am going to answer your question. It'll be the first one I answer, Jock. It will be the first one I answer, when I do my prediction show. PJ's last year in New Orleans. Man, last year should have been his last year in New Orleans. Kevin, no way they signed Stefan Anthony. Yes, they did. Alex Anzalone always getting hurt, bro. I really doubt we will re-sign him. It's sad, man, because he is really good when he plays, and he's a difference maker when he's out there on the field. But he has that Sean Lee syndrome. Sean Lee is a good linebacker. I mean, could be in borderline great, but always hurt. PJ do good in red zone. It's impossible for him to get burnt. Right. It's hard for you to get behind, somebody to get behind you when you're in the red zone. Boy, but shoot, you talking about somebody with no recovery speed. Boy, Corey White couldn't cover his bout if he coughed. Ah, man, Corey White wasn't good at all, man. He was not good. I remember when we drafted Stanley Jean-Baptiste. Ooh, second round pick. I remember that. And saw his highlight. This dude had great potential, but couldn't really live up to the hype. Man, that's when the Saints were trying to be something that they wasn't. That's when they got Rob Ryan, as the defensive coordinator, and they got Jarvis Bird, and they wanted to kind of duplicate what the Seattle Seahawks was. You got the big, tall, physical corner like a Richard Sherman. That's why they end up getting Batiste. But there was just one small problem. Batiste wasn't good. Calvin Griffin in the last 3 games, go look. I guess he still talk about Lattimore. Man, let it go, Trayshawn. Let it go, man. You're not gonna win. I don't think people are gonna agree with you when you say that he's not good, man. I respect the opinion on that, but we got to agree to disagree on that one, man. I don't think people gonna think that Lattimore is not good. He don't do bad in zone. Look at his yards after the catch. To beat the Cowboys, the Saints will have to keep the Dallas offense off the field by winning the time of possession. Yep, that's the only way they're going to win. But the Cowboys can do the same thing. They can control time of possession because they got 2 good running backs. What are you looking at to say that they had 500 yards? Things changed once Jeff Ireland got here. I agree. Jeff Ireland is... Man, he got to be one of the top executives in the NFL scouts. He going to end up being somebody GM real soon. Brandon Browner was poo. Yep, definitely was. Lattimore is leading the NFL with most yards given up. Imagine if we, I guess somebody forgot to add the rest of it. Imagine if we had, I guess, dude, Lattimore not the problem. Lattimore been getting torched. Amari Cooper might tear him up. Okay. Imagine if we had Jalen Ramsey. I missed at 2013 secondary. We were ranked second in pass defense. We had Kenneth Vaccaro, Raphael Bush, and the other DBs. Yeah, I remember that too. Lattimore is really good, but he needs to play much better. I think Lattimore sometimes, if I can say anything about him, I think sometimes he has like brain lapses, out there on the field. I think he gets caught out of position. And I just think that there's that happens to him sometimes. I also think that he thinks too much on the field. And when he does, that's when he end up getting posterized. We have to make sure we don't turn the ball over. And Jesus, the holding penalty. Yep, that's true. T Dirty. Teams watching tape and they see Lattimore giving up big plays, so they ain't scared to throw on his side. They gonna keep testing him and F up. Watch, keep poking a pit and he gonna bite. Yeah, man. I mean, dude, not that bad. He just not. I think Lattimore be smoking weed before the game. Man. Man, I think somebody said they think he just be lazy sometimes. Yeah, sometimes he do. Like the way that dude be talking and stuff, like he just so laid back. You know what I'm saying? He just laid back. But that's the end of the State of the Saints podcast for this evening. Thank y'all once again for commenting and asking your questions and stuff like that. I will be back later on in the week to break down the New Orleans Saints game against the Dallas Cowboys, so do not miss that. We will go live talking about that. We will go live immediately following the Cowboys Saints game, of course, but you can always hit me up. You can go to facebook.com and follow the State of the Saints podcast there. You can also email me at stateofthesaints@gmail.com. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. YouTube.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. You can check out the podcast. iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Merchandise is sold on teespring.com, so you can check that out. Maybe you want to, purchase a shirt or some merchandise. And like I said, also, donations, links are available now as well. I'm doing this through Streamlabs, so that's probably one of the reasons at the beginning why we had so many issues. But Streamlabs donations are available right now where you can actually chime in, and if you have something to say, you can trigger Streamlabs and they'll read it aloud. But I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing. I never, did this podcast just so I can just be making money off of it and anything like that. So I'm gonna continue to read whatever you all have to say. But if you all want to, give donations, that's fine as well. But this has been a State of the Saints podcast. Till next time, all I have to say is, who dat? Good night, everybody.